All right, what's going on, people? I wanted to make a quick and concise video about the new mode and the build that I'm using to get to wave 50. This build is pretty strong. It's utilizing double special weapons, and I'll get right into it. So I can stun all three champions with this. The first thing is Bastion. You could stun an unstop from any distance. It does okay damage, better than a primary for sure. And then in place of our primary weapon, we have Indebted Kindness with Lead from Gold and Full Shot. The freehand grip is just a preference thing. Feel free to use a minor spec, major spec, or boss spec. Anything would work here. You could also use quick access sling for the increased swap speed. That'll be pretty strong, just to swap between weapons because you have some pretty low handling weapons. The Crux Termination is our heavy weapon, and we're using slide shot and tracking on that one. This is a pretty hard roll to get, but if you have it, you can fry. This will increase your DPS while on this class because most of the class is dedicated to team support, even though you still have the ability to chunk champions and things of that nature. If you want, you could substitute Bastion for Izanagi's Burden, and Izanagi's will allow you to chunk some of the bigger enemies. However, the Bastion is more of a utility pick, and if you get something like an Ogre, which has a higher body shot damage multiplier, then Bastion is a better play since you can't get close to it with like a shotgun or something. This mode is onslaught. Things will kill you if you try to shotgun them, so the safer play is Nagi or Bastion. If you have a teammate that's dedicated to stunning unstops, I would definitely recommend running Izanagi's Burden, but this, like I said, is a utility pick. It enables you to do everything without really relying on your team too much. And then for our exotic, we have Orpheus Rigs. The Orpheus Rigs are really strong here. We only have 6 intellect, but we get our super pretty much instantly. The Orpheus Rigs only charge it to about half, but you're making so many orbs with the rest of the build that you'll get the super anyway. We're gonna move on to our artifact. The most important thing here is the anti-barrier sidearm, because the anti-barrier sidearm is what's allowing us to deal with barrier champions. And since we do have the Indebted Kindness, you can also use the Volt Shot to stun them if you're out of rockets, so it's kind of doing double duty. We have our rocket mods here, blast radius, so if you get multi-kills with the rocket, which you will be doing when you tether things, that'll give you armor charge, so that's really strong, especially during the boss section. The Argent Ordnance, that's your Godslayer Warheads buff for the extra damage, Overload Rockets for the champions and the extra damage. The most important mod here besides the rockets is Wished into Being, because that allows you to get ability kills with your suppressor nade or your smoke bomb, and that'll make more orbs for you and your teammate. It makes a lot of orbs when you get to that third super bar. Second to last, we'll go over the aspects and fragments. I choose to run Suppressor Grenade just for the potential overload stun and also the fragments that we're running. So Echo of Harvest, defeating a weaker target, creates an Orb of Power and a Void Breach. We'll be using the Void Breaches to get our class ability back for the Invis dodge, and the Orbs of Power will be for our team and for us to get our super back and our tether quicker. This will give us Devour, that's for our survivability, and then we increase the Devour. And then this Echo of Domineering, this fragment is kind of interchangeable. The plus 10 discipline is really nice, but we do get increased mobility for survivability and after suppressing a target, and we reload our weapon, say if we don't have our dodge or we don't want to press the button to reload, so we just want to move around quicker, the suppressor grenade can reload our weapon for us, and it's another method to create a void breach, which will get us our dodge back. I'm using Trapper's Ambush and Vanishing Step for the double invis, but you can substitute, I would say, Trapper's Ambush for Flawless Stylish Executioner, because you will be suppressing and weakening lots of things. You could also substitute Which of these would I substitute? I would say you could substitute Echo of Persistence for weakening nades. That would be pretty strong. It wouldn't take away your discipline and only take a little bit of mobility away. And that would give you more utility on the class, especially with Flawless Executioner. So if I did swap Flawless, I would also swap Echo of Persistence and just have shorter invis. Because you only really need the invis periodically. That fragment is a bit like training wheels. Alright, and then this part is really important. This is the mods. So I would say the most important, since we're running double special, is to have double heavy ammo finder. The double heavy ammo finder will give you more bricks when you pick up heavy with the appropriate scavenger mod active. I get 4 rockets every pickup without fail. So if you see a brick on the ground, when you have that set up, you spam rockets, about 4, and then you run over the brick, you'll get 4. Sometimes you'll get 3, but more often than not, it's 4. I do triple arc reserves because all of our survivability is in our mobility and our invis. 5 resilience allows you to be just tanky enough where you won't get one hit by a lot of things if your movement's good and you're killing things effectively and slaying out. Then just for utility, we have Arc Loader and Arc Dexterity. I think we could even up the orb gen on this build if we did use Firepower, but just for the feel of the slow handling weapons, I think Loader and Dexterity is necessary. 1 Loader makes Embedded Kindness feel really good to reload, though since there are shanks and things, you might not need this because the shields and the shank kills proc Sundering, which is a reload speed buff on Embedded Kindness. So that's up for debate. Triple arc reserves is mandatory because you're surge matching with 2 arc weapon surges, and you're running double special with surge matching Indebted Kindness with your crux. And then lastly, but not least, the Powerful Attraction mod just helps you be a little bit safer while you're picking up orbs, Reaper for more orb generation, and then Bomber for our nade for more ability kills, which will help us proc those suppression buffs from our fragments. Alright, and then here's my stat split. 7 mobility, as we discussed before, 5 resilience, 52 recovery, which was noticeably fine, and then 82 discipline. This is probably our most important stat besides intellect. If I could, I would probably have 100 intellect, 100 discipline, 100 mobility, and then 80 resilience or strength, either one. Probably resilience though, just for the weaken effects or more survivability. Either way is fine. And that's the build.